All right, go. Let's see, check my time. I'm going to wait one more minute. All right, looks like the number of participants is steady, so I'll go ahead and start. Hello, everyone. My name is Gene Logan. Welcome to the AU Central session on student account and billing. So we are going to record this. I encourage you to, jot down notes if you need to, but it'll be recorded and uploaded within a couple of days to the orientation sites. Right. So that's me. I'm Gene Logan. I'm the director of AU Central. I have worked at the university for 12 years. I am an AU alum. I am an adjunct instructor. I teach the AUX2 class that all of you will take during your second semester here. I'm also the parent of a rising junior. So my daughter Kendall is going to be a junior this coming school year. So I've got multiple perspectives of what it means to be part of this AU family. My job here as director of AU Central is managing this one-stop student service center, right? So we are an office on campus that handles student accounts, registration, and veteran services. We are also a great resource for students, parents, and guardians to contact if they don't know who else to contact with their question, right? So me and my team have great institutional knowledge. If we don't know the answer to your question, we'll be able to get it for you or refer you to someone who does know how. Our office was created to avoid having students and others bounced from one office to the other. Since so many of the questions that people have involve more than just one office, particularly as it relates to the student account, that's why we are here, right? So if you look here, your role is to be a student here. So we're created to help you manage the administrative functions of being a student, all the other things that you have to do to manage your accounts, etc. So what I'm going to talk about today is how you access the student bill, the payment options, how parents and guardians will access the bill, and then I'm going to spend some time talking about the health insurance waiver process, because that is something that is also managed by our office. All right. So I will also say that I have a colleague here, Sergio Turan, who is going to be assisting me with the chat. So if you do have questions, please type them in the chat and Sergio will help get you an answer. All right, so let's talk about the billing timeline. I'm assuming at this point in the summer that most of you have already registered at least partially for your classes. So once you register for classes, a billing statement is automatically created for you online. And that is available on the student portal, which you as a student would log in to myau.american.edu, and you'll be able to see the charges, a PDF copy of the bill, and make payments online. Now, we have been working, AU Central has been working with all of our campus partners earlier in the summer to make sure that anything that is posted to the bill was done so, or as much as possible, could be done so by July 1st. So we wanted our housing charges to be on there, meal plans, classes, financial aid to be posted as anticipated, all of that, because on July 1st, we sent an email to all of our students directing them to the online bill, right? Now, the bill is available 24/7, but whenever we want you to look at it, if there's some change to it, we send an email to the student directing them to it, all right? So we did that on July 1st. So if you as a student went to your portal and logged in to see the bill, or if you do it now, you'll see that the fall bill is due August 1st. We bill by semester, so the fall bill you're seeing now has tuition fees, room and board, all the applicable charges for the fall semester. And then when you register for spring, there'll be a similar looking bill. Now, one of the most important things that I want you to learn from me today is the fact that August 1st is a soft deadline. Right? So what that means is we want to give all of our families ample opportunity to make whatever financial arrangements they need to make in order to pay that bill. So that may mean signing up for a payment plan, which I'll talk about, finalizing financial aid or applying for a loan, accessing money from your 529 account, which again, I'll talk about that as well, or whatever other steps you need to take in order to make that payment. So no fees are going to be assessed to any account until after the second week of the semester. Okay, so in September. Okay, that is for everyone unless you have signed up for a monthly payment plan. So we'll talk about payment plans in a minute, but if you have signed up for a monthly payment plan, you are committing to paying the first of every month. That is not a soft deadline, okay? But if you haven't signed up for a payment plan, that August 1st deadline is soft to give you time to make whatever arrangements you need to make, okay? So what I don't want to see any of our families do is to make payment now for anything that is going to be covered at a later date by any other source. Right? I've already seen some inquiries from people who are saying, well, I'm going to get this money, but it's not going to be here until September. I don't want anything to happen, by missing the August 1st deadline. So I'm just going to pay it now and I'll be reimbursed later. Do not do that, right? Your student will still be able to attend their classes, go to the dining hall, check into the residence hall, all of that, even if that bill hasn't been paid by August 1st. Do not, you can subtract any anticipated payment, if you feel like you want to make payment by that deadline, that is fine. Same thing goes for the health insurance waiver, which I'll talk about in a moment. Sometimes people will see that charge on their account. They've submitted a waiver and will pay it now and say, I'll just be reimbursed by it later, but I don't want to miss the deadline. You do not need to do that. You can subtract it from the bill or wait until it has been removed from the bill to pay without penalty. All right, so I can imagine that there are probably some parents and guardians who also want to see that billing statement. And in order for that to happen, the student has to give permission, which seems funny, but it is the student's account. So the student has to grant permission for any other parent or guardian to be able to see and pay the bill online. Okay, so I have a screenshot here. We call that person proxy access. Eagle Service is the online billing system on the student portal. They would log into their bill and click on their username, and the a little bubble comes up that says view add proxy access. And then the student can add access, grant access to whoever they choose. And that person will have their own login, create their own password, and they will be able to log in, see the bill online, see all of the account details, print a PDF if they choose, and make payment online. The other nice thing about proxy access is that the proxies also receive the billing email. Students will always receive it, but if you've been set up as a proxy, you will also be sent an email if a deadline's coming up or if something has been changed on your billing statement. Okay. I have a tip over here in the blue because this is a common question that we get. Parents will contact us or proxies will contact us and say, I logged in and I got a statement that said, no, there's no account balance to pay. All right. So what's going on? So what that means is that you as the proxy are looking at your student account as opposed to the actual student's account. So when I go in, log in as proxy for my daughter, I see two names on there. I see my name and I see my daughter's name. So I intuitively might pick my name and I look and it say no account balance to pay. If you see that message, it means you're looking at your account and you need to click on the top and change it to the students, all right? And then you'll be able to see the student account balance and all the details. All right, let's talk about payment options. Okay, so first option, good old-fashioned checks, paper checks, right? Made payable to American University, making sure that the student's name and AU ID number are written on the check, either dropped off at our office on campus or mailed to the attention of student accounts to the address of the university. Okay, it's the slowest option, but one that many of our families do. Next option is e-check or electronic check. And that is when the student or the proxy user logs into the account, enters the account and routing number to their own account, and then transfers the funds over to make payment. No fee involved in that. And then the final option here is credit cards. We do accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. I'll caution you, though, that there is a 2.8% processing fee involved in that the credit card company will charge. So be mindful, especially parents I know like getting their points or rewards on their credit cards. You want to balance that with this 2.8% processing fee. And finally, my tip for this slide is if you're using a debit card to make payment online, then our system is still going to think it's a credit card. So to avoid that 2.8% processing fee, you should get the account number and routing number associated with that debit card account and enter the information as if it's an electronic check, and then there'll be no fee. Right. Now, when you log into Eagle Service, it is going to default to the make a payment page. So it's going to show you the full amount that is due. But as proxy access user and as the student, you just click one of the options at the top and you'll see that you have the option of seeing account details, right? And then you click on that and then you can see all of the charges, each class, each charge, each fee, all the financial aid will be itemized, and you can print a PDF of that if you'd like, right? But the default view is this is the full amount that you owe. Okay, other payment options that are available. I mentioned 529 or prepaid college savings plans. There are hundreds of them out there, right? And we'll work with them all. If you do have funds in any of those accounts, the first thing that you should do is contact the provider of your plan and find out what, if anything, they need from you in order to access those funds. Some of those providers will send the money directly to the school. Some will send the money to you, and then you turn around and send it to the school. Others will require the school to send a special billing notice directly to the plan, and we will do that. Whatever it is that you need, if there's anything that we need to do, just contact AU Central, and we'll be able to provide that information for you. All right. And 529 money, it may not be here by August 1st. That's fine. If you know it's coming, then that's fine. Again, don't need to pay it. You can subtract it from the bill. You can wait till it posts without any penalty. Many of our students, particularly our first-year students, have been awarded outside scholarships from their church or synagogue or place of employment, whatever it is. And those organizations typically need proof that the student is enrolled here before they release those funds. So we provide that information. The student should contact AU Central, and we'll provide you with a certificate that you are enrolled here for the fall, along with the address where those payments can be sent. And again, those funds are not likely to be here by August 1st. Subtract it from the, from your bill to determine what, if anything, needs to pay right now. Right. So we do offer a payment plan. It's called the American Payment Plan. And that's where you can divide up the payments for each semester into 5, 4, 3, or 2 monthly payments. There's a $50 charge per semester to sign up for it. The payment is due on the first of each month. So if you signed up for a payment plan, that's not a soft deadline. You are committing to pay by the first of each month. So the payment plan is going to be for people whose bill is finalized, whose financial aid is finalized, that you are, this is the amount that you're going to have to pay for the fall, and you want to divide it up into 5, 4, 3, or 2 monthly payments. Okay. Now the deadline has passed to sign up for the 5-month payment plan. Okay. If you submit an application now, between now and August 15th, you will be set up for the 4-month payment plan with the first payment starting September 1st. right? And that's fine, right? So that's it. So if you submit an application now, you automatically be signed up for the 4-month payment plan, September, October, November, December. You don't choose your plan. It's based on when you submit the application. Okay. So you can tell already, you can wait until that August 1st deadline for full payment for the fall passes. It'll show as overdue and still have 2 weeks to submit a payment plan to start the 4-month payment plan on September 1st. If you are just hearing about the payment plan right now and you wish you had known about it before to sign up for the 5-month payment plan, here's my tip. So you submit an application today, which means you'll be set up for the 4-month payment plan. Then you go into Eagle Service and you make a partial payment of any amount that you want, right? And then by the time the payment plan gets set up, your payment will have been processed and the rest of the charges will be divided up into 4 monthly payments. So it's the equivalent of a 5-month payment plan, but it's just kind of tricking our system a little bit since the payment plan application office will not accept any 5-month payment plan applications now. All right. Let's talk about health insurance. So once you as the student have registered for at least 12 credits, that means registered in the classes, not on wait lists, but registered in at least 12 credits, you will see a charge for $2,302 for health insurance added to your account. This is through our provider, Aetna. It covers fall, spring, and summer, right? All students have to have coverage, health insurance coverage. It's automatically assessed to the bill. It's done once a year, right? Because it covers the fall, spring, and summer semesters. If you as a student are covered under a comparable plan, then you can submit a waiver appeal, which is, here is proof of my coverage. Our third-party provider will review your appeal, determine if it's a comparable plan, and if yes, they will approve your waiver. And they'll notify you, they'll notify the school. Once we are notified within 5 to 7 days, we will remove that charge of $2,300 from your account. And then you have to do that each year, submit each summer proof of your insurance, right? So we're not the health insurance experts here. That's why we partner with Aetna to provide the insurance and academic health plans to manage our waiver process. So if you have questions about that waiver or if more information is being requested from you, you should follow back up with academic health plans and their information is right there, right? So again, if you have received an appeal that your waiver has been approved, the charge will be removed in 5 to 7 days. You can either wait until that fee has been removed from your account to make payment, or you can subtract that $2,300 from your bill and pay that lesser amount now. If you're on a payment plan, once that fee has been removed from your account, your payments will automatically be readjusted by the payment plan office within a couple of days. It's not immediate. It'll be within a couple of days after that fee is removed. All right. Tuition refund insurance. This is optional, but I recommend it. So we've also partnered with a third-party provider to offer tuition refund insurance. That provider is GradGuard. So if you as a student get sick and has to withdraw after the second week of the semester, you will be charged, for all or part of your tuition, right? That's a standard refund policy at AU and at all schools. So if you would consider purchasing tuition refund insurance, you can decide how much. You would contact GradGuard and purchase that tuition refund insurance. The cost is approximately $100 for $10,000 worth of coverage. Then if you have to withdraw from your classes for, a physical health or a mental health reason, among other reasons, then you submit a claim with GradGuard, and then you can get those funds back. Okay, so that's, highly recommended. I know you can't predict whether you're going to get sick or not or what's going to happen, but if it's manageable for you at a couple $100 for this insurance policy, it's well worth it. You know, if you get sick and have to go home to get better, not to have to worry about the financial component of it as well. So highly recommended. All right. In AU Central, we also manage veterans benefits for our students. We have several hundred students who are receiving veterans benefits. So if you are the dependent of a vet or a vet yourself, then you will work with our veteran certifying officials in our office to make sure that you have everything that you need to access those funds and get them posted to your account. Veterans benefits never, are posted before the start of the semester. So again, this is, you would work with our office to say, my bill is going to be covered by the VA. So they'll just assure you that, okay, that's fine. Continue to go to classes. Don't worry about late fees or anything. We'll post the funds when we get them. Okay, so any questions about that, you can reach out directly to veterans here or just contact AU Central. All right, so there's our contact information. There's our physical space on campus, Asbury 201. There's our email address and our website, help.american.edu. So if you have questions about anything that I talked about here, like where do I find the payment plan application or the health insurance waiver, or how do I contact GradGuard, go to help.american.edu. You can just type in a keyword and it'll bring you right to it. Help.american.edu is a much easier way to search for this information than just going to the university's website, honestly. So all of the offices that are on these presentations today have put their information in the help website so that it is more easily findable for you, right? Waivers, applications, info, anything that you need for financial aid, student accounts, health center, housing, dining, they all have created articles in there with links to take action. Right. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'm going to peek here at chat. Okay, so I'm looking at a couple of the questions. Okay, let's go see. So how can we subtract expected payments from outside scholarships that aren't already reflected on our account? You don't have to worry about reflecting it unless you're on a payment plan. If you're on a payment plan, you would contact AU Central and say, can my payments be redone with this outside anticipated aid taken into consideration? And we will redo your payments based on that anticipated aid. If it's just making payment, you don't need to have that reflected on your bill. We do have a two-step verification process. That's a pain, I know, for anyone to access it. I will say that I bungled it the first few times that I tried to do it. It does get easier, but that's not something that can be changed. All students and proxies have to have two-step verification in order to access any of the accounts. If you do have difficulty with that, then the help desk can assist you with that. And then the other question is about health insurance. Yeah, if you want, something additional to the standard health insurance plan that we offer here, then you could reach out directly to Aetna. You can add people to it. You can add dental and vision to it. There are options. Our plan is that we provide via Aetna is a good plan, but it's a basic plan. So if you want to add people, have additional coverage, or have questions about what type of coverage it actually has, then you would reach out to Aetna. All right, so that brings us to the end. So again, if you have questions, please reach out to me at AU Central. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, the rest of your summer, and I look forward to seeing you all in really just a couple of weeks when you're bringing your students to campus.